Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I want to tell you a story about the city of Edgewood, and I hope everybody in the city of Edgewood at least gets this. And it's a true story, and it is a story that is just it exemplifies what goes on so often across our community and communities across the country, where you have these city officials just do the darndest things. Now, there is a piece of property that's been for sale forever at the bottom of Dudley and Madison Pike. Those of you readily recognize it. There is a State Farm office which has now been closed. There is a chiropractor and a dentist, and there are a couple other buildings, another building there that are vacant. It's 4 acres. It's 4 acres. I signed a contract to buy that 4 acres. It is zoned in a manner that I can build an office building right now, and that's the game plan. I have an architect who's designing it and drawing it up. A 3-story office building where I am going to put Deters Law and Bulldog Media. Really nice building, and that's the plan. Now, because it's 4 acres, I thought to myself, well, what else would be a good thing to build on this 4 acres? And I came up with this idea. It's an idea that I've wanted to do for a long, long time. Spent a lot of work, a lot of effort on it, consulting with a lot of people. Is a fast food barbecue place. Got it designed, it's called Liberty Barbecue. Hired a team of people to work on it, designing the building, the layout, Berlin Engineering doing the engineering layout and everything for it. And it is going to be a drive-through and pick-up only, no sit-down restaurant, and first class. And rather than try to squeeze it on an acre, it's going to be put on 2 acres for plenty of room. And those of you that are also familiar with like Chick-fil-A, the way they've got it set up, well, it's going to be like that. But there's going to be plenty of room. There's going to be no cars out on Dudley. The way we have this thing designed and set up is going to be beautiful. And it's a great location for this. And the idea is that if you start, it's very risky, but if you start a franchise concept that's successful, well, you know what happens. It's pretty damn awesome. So I've been involved as a franchisor with Snappy Tomato Pizza my entire adult life. I was involved as a franchisee of Wendy's my entire adult life before I separated recently from the Deters company. You all know about that debacle. But the bottom line is this is my idea that I wanted to do. Now, under the current zone, to have a fast food restaurant, that part of the property had to be rezoned. So got it all engineered by Steve Berling, went to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission staff recommended the zone change. The Planning Commission, this is in Kenton County, 14-4 voted for it. The chairman of the commission is the Edgewood representative. He voted against it. And one of the things that they kept bringing up was traffic. And the Kentucky Department of Transportation was supposed to make this change, those of you that are familiar with Edgewood, to cut across Spurdy Drive and maybe even cut off Dudley on Madison Pike, which would be beyond stupid. In other words, if you're getting off 275 to go up Dudley, you would have to drive past the Thorntons and double back. Dumb. And by the way, who knows if that would ever be adopted anyway. So at the Planning and Zoning Commission, he also read, the chairman of the committee from the Edgewood rep, Darple, read a letter from a Carol Ramler who works at the Department of Transportation, District 6, I think, up there off Buttermilk. And I thought to myself, she lives in Edgewood. But this letter was clearly written as an official from the Department of Transportation. Kind of irritated me. I think that's kind of a conflict. So staff recommend, and at this hearing also, the staff for the Planning Commission pointed out that at some point in time there ought to be a traffic study done, yada, yada, yada. Staff recommended it, Planning Commission recommended it 14-4. So it then goes to the city of Edgewood. Well, Brian Diener, the Edgewood administrator, the mayor, John Link, and the city attorney, Frank Wickman, wanted to meet with me and Steve Burling to discuss this project. And we met with them. Also coming to the meeting was their engineer, Mark Bergerman. He has a engineering business, but he's the city engineer for Edgewood, Mark Bergerman. So we have this meeting, and Frank Wickman, the city attorney, says, we're not going to allow you to say anything new at this Edgewood council meeting. They're only going to vote on what's been already in the record. It's going to be argument only. And we're like, okay. We get a traffic study completed, as we said we would, and that traffic study by the Edgewood city engineer, no problem whatsoever with our project. No problem whatsoever. But they won't let us submit that at the council meeting, like we said at the Planning Commission we were going to do. So they have a city of Edgewood meeting. And those present were Link, Ben Barlage, Dale Henson, Darla Kettenacker, Joe Messmer, Jeff Shriver, and Kim Walking. Rob Thielen was not at that meeting. You can't make this up. Carol Ramler from the Highway Department actually comes to this meeting. And rather than just have the argument, what's on the record, they let her talk about all this new stuff. But they don't let us submit the traffic study. I mean, Steve Burling and I were like, what the hell's going on here? This is insane. And Frank Wickman, the city attorney, and John Link, who run the meeting, let it happen. So then there's a vote. And the vote is 3-3. Barlage, Walking, and Henson voted for it. Against it was Darla Kettenacker, Joe Messmer, and Jeff Shriver. Leading the argument against it was Jeff Shriver. Now, it was so personal. When I'm sitting there listening to Jeff Shriver make the argument, now I know his brother A.J. Shriver, who's married to Teresa Shriver, who grew up out here in Independence. And A.J. I always thought was a nice guy. This Jeff Shriver, I mean, the things that came out of his mouth were all wrong and mean and nasty. And I thought to myself, you know, I've bought some flowers in the past from Swan Florist, but it's been a real long time. Maybe I haven't bought enough stuff from Swan Florist or something. And then this Kettenacker, I kept thinking, Darla Kettenacker, and to this day, there's something I can't put my finger on. There's some issue with Darla Kettenacker. And then I find out Joe Messmer owns a piece of property down there where I am. By the way, he never discloses that. That doesn't get disclosed. So the vote's 3-3 because Rob Thielen wasn't there. You know what happens? What that means is that means it passes. The mayor apparently can't break a tie, so this project would be passed because they would follow the Planning and Zoning Commission. So then they schedule, after that hearing, I get a phone call from a lawyer who specializes in planning and zoning. He goes, I just want to let you know, Eric, that if you want to sue him, I'll sue him for you. I said, well, let's see what happens from here. There is no question that this is in conformance with the comprehensive plan. No question whatsoever. Okay. So rather than just let it sit, They call another meeting last night. They called a meeting last night at 6 o'clock. And we're like, well, okay, we'll see what happens. It's all going to be dependent on what Rob Thielen does, because Rob Thielen showed up. Right off the bat, you can't make this up. Dale Henson, who previously voted for it, says something that he went back and looked at, and now he's going to be against it. Do you know who Dale Henson is? I was told the diocesan finance guy. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh, I'm sure after the first meeting, I know who talked to old Dale Henson. Remember my public statements about the misconduct by the bishop? Remember all that? So Dale Henson, who voted for it prior, he's going to change his vote. After listening to him, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to lose. I left. Steve Burling calls me, and he says, well, it was 4-3. I said, really? He said, yeah. He goes, Barledge voted for you, Walking voted for you, and Rob Thielen voted for you. And by the way, just for the record, what I witnessed in these two hearings, Barledge, Walking, and Thielen have brains. I mean, what they said, Walking reviewed everything. Walking even went to the Planning Commission meeting. I mean, she read everything twice. She went to that. And they basically said, hey, it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan. If it's conformance with the comprehensive plan, we have to approve it. I think I actually represented Darla Gettenecker a long time ago. That's interesting. But the bottom line is, somebody got to Dale Henson, and they switched the vote. Now, I just want all of you in the city of Edgewood to know this, okay? Now, if you're a hater, you're a hater. So be it. But I want you all to know that I'm filing next week a lawsuit in Kenton Circuit Court. I know I'm going to win because it complied with the comprehensive plan, and this site's just too good to pass up, and I'm going to get it done. It's just going to be delayed. But I want you to know when I win, because of their misconduct in this process. Oh, by the way, last night you had a new person speaking on it, Thielen, and they let everybody on the commission talk. They didn't let us talk last night either. After the meeting, Frank Wickman even admitted to Steve Burling, maybe he should have let us talk. So they screwed up last night too. This happens in a well-heeled city in the northern Kentucky community. Now, because I'm involved in this, I know, and I'm sitting there thinking, God, I can't imagine how often this goes on across this community. And those of you that live in these communities, please feel free to share your horror story. But your city, these boneheads, Henson, Ketteneckel, Mesmer, and Shriver, are not only getting your city sued, they're going to have to pay the attorney fees for that, because it's not just going to be a lawsuit for the zone change, it's a violation of my rights for how they handled the process. And it shouldn't have been that way. By the way, after the first meeting, I wrote Frank Wickman a letter and said, hey guys, or hey Frank, why don't we just let it be, because if it goes down, I'm going to have to sue you, and I don't want to sue you. What do? They schedule a meeting. Do you believe this? There isn't, and I use this all the time, there isn't a rational, normal person that would watch what I just laid out, which is the truth, and not say, boy, that a bunch of crock. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it was almost bizarre how Jeff Shriver was all worked up. All right, Jeff, I'll see you in court, buddy. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.